President Bola Tinubu has signed the National Anthem Bill despite the opposition from Nigerians. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, announced this on Wednesday during a joint session of the National Assembly. He also announced that the President will not address the House, but only flag off the new anthem. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas said the President cancelled the address because June 12th is the official Democracy Day. Honorable Waribani, what is your take on this?
Well, in a country that insecurity is on the increase, hunger and things are not being put in place, people cannot even buy gari now to eat. People cannot buy fuel, don't have money to buy fuel. And the only thing you think is a solution to the current crisis of Nigeria is to go back to the old anthem. Fine. But I think if they see anything good about the old anthem, they would have been able to go back and restructure this economy to suit the anthem before bringing the anthem to existence. But bringing the anthem to existence when the economy, the system, the hunger, the insecurity is on the high side and the increase, is a show of shame. I must say this. I must say this. It is not what any Nigerian want to say it is what is right now. But like we said on the other topic, most of these things, I think they are just political. If not so, I don't see any reason why the only thing that will be done on that day should be talking about changing of Nigerian anthem. When the petroleum, the fuel subsidy removal, we don't know whether there is subsidy or there is no subsidy. Projects of the country, we cannot even say this is the one that is functional. The only one we know is that anyone that will serve as conduit pipe will go. They will send us prototype, and the actual thing on ground will be different thing. So I think that, well, it's Mr. President. I respect him as my president. Maybe there is a magic that the current anthem is now current because his word is final. As the president, I voted for him as my president. So he's leading us. There are things he may have seen spiritually that when the anthem is being renewed to the old one, the spirit that is used to initiate the old anthem that is now new will actually change the narrative. If that's the case, kudos to Mr. President. It's a good one. But if not so, I think Mr. President should overnight or within now see the need for him to bring down cost of materials in the markets, cost of living. People can no longer travel at will. People can no longer do anything at will. Food, I come from a place, I'm from Andoni, and a typical Andoni man likes gari. I eat gari morning, afternoon, and night. Mr. President, I can no longer eat gari up to 2 times. I'm telling you. So if you want me to sing this anthem, let us go back to when I can eat gari even 6 times instead of 9 times. Because as it stands now, if we cannot have a means of livelihood secured, then we are paving room for more insecurity in Nigeria. We are paving room for destruction of government properties. Because the next thing you will see is that the crisis that will erupt in Nigeria with the speck of insecurity, with the speck of hardship, the insecurity will skyrocket in Nigeria. Okay. So, Mr. President, I'm begging you, because my vote was for you and still guarding you, I respect your submission, but I feel that if it is not happen to do with spiritual issues, because you know, as a president, you will know you control both the physical and the spiritual. Because if it is this physical we are seeing today, I think it is a wrong thing. But if it is spiritual, that by the time we go into this old and now new anthem that Nigeria is going to buy back, that we can all travel home, we can eat our food and live the man life, send our children to schools in Nigeria. Then, applause to Mr. President.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, apparently Nigerians, we tend to build everything on spirituality.
See, it's like that. Of course, he's a pastor too, so those in the ecclesiastical and the pastoral disease also, we pin our hopes on you people when we are downcast. But it's all right. But in this case, I don't know whether this president is acting on the spiritual platter or on the political platter. But from what I've seen is that, you see, the idea of tinkering with the national anthem is not a bad, whatever the case may be. You know, politically speaking, you know, they have the right to change.
Yes.
What Section 24 of the Constitution says is that national anthem should be obeyed by all Nigerians. You know, the pledge, etc., as the case may be. So whatever national anthem that is brought before us, we should accept it. But my own query is this: even though I know that people like Michael Zekome has approved and even was applauding the president yesterday and saying that for 10 years he has been clamoring for a change of that old national anthem, which used to be the new one, you know, to this particular new one we have now. You understand? And he gave reasons for that he even went to court. You know, it was that yesterday I got to know that even Michael Zekome had gone to court, the Federal High Court, to say that they should change the national anthem, the pledge, and even the national flag. But the Federal High Court, you know, threw away that particular application. That is what he was saying. The Senate President, Akpabio, has also said that everything is in tune, that is going to bring back our etymology. I don't know what that means, or genealogy. I don't know what that means in his, whatever that he stated. Then there is Agboje, what they call a spokesperson for House of Reps, who also came forward to, you know, applaud the president, and so many other people who have done that. But my own query with this particular, you know, law, right, that the new law, is that insofar as the Constitution asks us to obey, you know, what has been made as law in Nigeria, we have the right to query and profile, you know, whatever law that is in place. And if it is a bad law, the courts can shoot it down. In the other Section 4 sub 8 of the 1999 Constitution, we can apply to the court. Anybody can apply to the court to say the national anthem that they have brought forward, you know, is hurting him, or is not, he does not want to go along, it's a bad law. The court can bring it down and say, President, they are not that particular whatever, you cannot go ahead with that particular law you passed. That is the civil way to remedy all this situation. But the question I want to ask quickly is this: Nigerians do not understand that 3 women, you know, were those who were in the key of, you know, the formation of Nigeria, the character, and whatever we are today. You know, Flora Shaw, you know, was the one that named Nigeria, Niger area, and I heard he was a friend to Lord Lugard. Then you now go back, you now look at the person that wrote the lyrics, you know, for this new anthem now. Her name is Lillian Williams. You know, she's the one that wrote the lyrics. Then the composer of the anthem, which turned it into music, was also a woman, Frances Beda. You know, so you have 3 women who, in our historical part, have carved, you know, Nigeria into what we are today, as the case may be. That is what people are saying, that the reason why Obasanjo, you know, pulled down this new national anthem now is because of the fact Obasanjo said that, yes, as at that time, the context and content of this national anthem was, you know, very, very apt. You know, Nigeria, we hated in brotherhood, because at that time, we just fought a civil war, and they needed healing, rehabilitation. So the anthem was allowed to last in 1978. And that the reason why he had to change the national anthem, you know, to the new one, which has now been made the old one, is that the colonial vestiges that we have in Nigeria, you know, ought to be thrown into the Atlantic Ocean and ask them to return the stolen artifacts that they took from Oyo, Benin, and they knock whatever back to Nigeria. And based on that, they want to, that is the Supreme Military Council, that is the highest body of the military that was making laws and taking decisions for the military government of Obasanjo in 1978. Supreme Council now said that we are tired of colonialism, that to add, salt upon injuries, that there's apartheid in South Africa. And I remember that people like Sam Nujoma, people like the late, Robert Mugabe, who was a politician, angling to get freedom for people of Southern Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, came to Nigeria. People like Govan Mbeki, came to Nigeria. People like Andrew Young came to Nigeria. People like Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse, they were in Nigeria when this particular anthem was not changed. And they ululated and applauded Obasanjo for doing what now? For sweeping away colonial vestiges and now bringing a Nigerianized, national anthem. And Obasanjo made a decree. And that decree was the National Indigenization Decree that, kind of nationalized, assets. The national anthem was done. People were asking them to even change the flag because the flag was a product of the colonial masters. He refused because his brother, Akim Umu, was the one that designed the flag. He left it there. Now, at the end of the day, we now found that companies were nationalized, like BP, British Petroleum. On that same time, the national anthem was brought in. He nationalized them, that to make them Nigerianized. British Petroleum was not changed to AP we have today. Philip Oil was not changed to Unipetro. Texaco was at that time. These are old, oil companies that were operating in Nigeria in the 70s. Obasanjo nationalized them. The popular first bank we use today was called Standard Bank or whatever, Barclays Bank, UBA Bank. Obasanjo had to name all these banks, to rename them, to suit the new narrative that we are having today, or we were having at that time. So the question I'm asking this present administration is that, did they look at the reason why this was done? Now, if Obasanjo had to throw away the vestige of colonialism, why remind us? Because there is no way you will tell me now that the name of the woman that wrote this, the lyrics of the anthem will be thrown away and replaced with a Taiwo in Nigeria, whatever. It will not be in our history. So what are we doing? So why the hurry number 2 or number 3? Is this? I don't know. So what I would have suggested, if they gave us that right to public hearing, under the law here captioned in the Constitution, lawmaking is a process. It's not a 100-meter race. It's not a dash race. But this is the first bill I've seen, or law I've seen in the world as a student of parliamentarism and democracy, etc., that has become the fastest, a law that has come from the chambers. The only law that is faster is that of that made in the UK Parliament, because they don't have a written constitution. There is an unwritten constitution. So if the Prime Minister and the House they agree, this is what is the new law, they just adopt immediately. But there's no process of making law there. In Nigeria, which is the federal democracy we are practicing, we have 2 chambers, like the American whatever we have. The 2 must agree 2/3 for that to become law. And there's no public hearing. Why did the president not allow Nigerians like myself and Pastor, or even the TV stations here, to not say, Oga, this is our input, this is the way we are looking at this national anthem, as the case may be. Must you impose it on us? We are imposing this on us. We want to kill colonialism, we are bringing it back to our eyes again. That is not agreed. Then there is, finally, it is not a proper time, it's not the appropriate time to do this. Because let me tell you, Nigerians are working with apoplectic rage right now. What do I mean? The ordinary Nigerian man is a walking time bomb. You do not have a quarrel. And that is why I'm very happy that today we never legalize gun or arms in this country. Many, you wake up in the morning, more than 100 would have been dead because of angry Nigerians who are shooting themselves in the bus stop, in banks, even where they are driving. I was coming here today, a man who was in the taxi had to tell, leave the road, Oga, please leave the road. You don't know Tinubu don't change national anthem. You know that kind of a thing. He was so angry. And a man, if he had a gun, he can even shoot. So this is not the appropriate time the government of the day would have done that. And lastly is this, why do we have this parliament? Why I don't blame the president much is that, you see, in all democracy, all over the world, there's what we call lobbying. If I bring an executive bill or a personal bill to the National Assembly, I can lobby for a pastor to support me. I will also lobby for other parties who are not my party members to support my bill. And if that bill has not scaled up to 2/3 majority, it will never go to the next level. So if 2/3 majority of the National Assembly signed it, it is presumably, you know, under the doctrine of a social contract theory, that those we send there represent Nigeria. It is assumed that 2/3 of Nigerians assented to that particular, you know, bill being a law because they got 2/3 majority. Whether it was taken by force or whatever, we don't know. These are things that we look at. What we're asking the president finally is that, please, sir, the same, you know, light speed way you use in manufacturing this particular law, please use same to manufacture laws that will make petrol come down from whatever 850 to 120 as the case may be. Food price bring it down. You look at it now, pay workers, you know, at least a minimum of 200,000 naira per month. Because it was speed of light that you used in making this whole this happen. Because you said that you are walking the talk. Because you made the promise in 2022 that when you enter government and become president, you will change the national anthem. No problem with that. But we are telling you that to walk the talk in agriculture, walk the talk in employment, walk the talk in economy, as the case may be. Because Nigerians are suffering. No national anthem. I cannot even sing it. I know the stanzas. But sir, I may not be able to sing because if I sing with the last strength I have, I may fall down and die. So that is why we're asking you, Mr. President, to please help us. People are hungry. A hungry man is an angry man. A man that has done anything is in the office, in the school, and you tell him to sing. He will just look at you and walk out. So what exactly are we gaining from it? Please, Mr. President, we beg you to please reverse the decision. Right. That is what I feel.
Yes,
that's what I feel.
You had me stitches when you talked about singing the anthem.
I don't have strength. I don't have strength, please. I will not die.
You know,
I don't have strength.
This is a topic,
Yeah.
It's revitalizing me.
Yes.
Because whenever I was coming, people were arguing the vehicle that they should increase price. The woman said, no. They should not even pay more salary, because as soon as you pay more salary, with this increase of this change of national anthem, prices will just go up. So you see the impression that the layman is having.
Is sorry sight.
The impression that our people are having now is going to create more crisis.
Absolutely.
In the country. Mr. President, I used to know Mr. President as a man that has listening ears. Yes, there is nothing wrong for someone to make mistake. Like my elder brother said here, excellence is near perfection. So that means there is no perfection in excellence.
Is it the way it is now? No, there's perfection in excellence. But in Nigeria, in the Nigerian context, among some of the people in power now, there's no this. Malu will come outside and tell power.
When you say there's a vacuum that negativity can also emerge. So I would say that Mr. President has an excellence ideology, but because there's a near word attached there, that's the loopholes. Let Mr. President go back and look at that.
Absolutely.
That point that is remaining to make it expertly more excellent, so that Nigerians can live well. The anthem, well, he has made it before that he will do it, and he has done it. Kudos, but sir, let me be able to eat my gari.
That's right.
3 times.
If people wants to help people, he should give it to Nigerians. We call literary giants to write another one for us. Then we go through it.
Let us come back to.
There is even one person online. People are questioning why didn't they adopt.
Let us bring in new words. New words that in line with what is happening.
Today.
Then let it be Nigerian oriented.
That's right.
Not the foreign. We have left foreign life.
Yes.
And now the same president is saying that we are going to improve our local products. And Nigerians, we have good writers in Nigeria. We have good, whatever thing you want us to get in Nigeria, we have them. In fact, our artists outside the country are just to be the best. Our presenter, my friend Laurentia, is doing well, and I know that if you allow her to do that, she will do that better off.
Absolutely.
We should encourage ourselves at this point. Instead of encourage the foreigners. So that we can do well.
Now, speaking of, you and Barrister Sim raised the point and you seconded it, and it's very important we look at it very briefly before we leave. And that's the case of neocolonialism in Nigeria. Yes. Is this a case of neocolonialism at play, one, or is it a clear disenchantment of the political class from the masses? Like, they don't understand the pain of the people, because we would wonder, is the national anthem actually a priority right now?
That is what I'm saying.
Is it
I didn't want to go into that side because
I think at this point we need to look at the psychology of the politicians
even the democracy.
Don't you think, Barrister?
Listen, my brother, my sister. The democracy we are having today had been infringed.
Okay.
Now, before now, party politics used to be encouraging. I am a member of Party A, and you will see they can protect the interests of Party A with all amount of seriousness. But in this way, in this time, current democracy we are seeing today, I will be in Party A. I mean, when we sit down to say, okay, well, this is our way of getting ourselves winning. The next time the person is here will tell you will be here, and is here to give them the information. So the democracy, the oath of secrecy we have in Nigeria is broken. So everything is not in order. I beg God that let this government make silly mistakes that will bring heaven for us. We need heaven in Nigeria, because you see, if God doesn't intervene into this matter, how can we talk about when we are hungry? I'm talking about hunger because I know what it takes to have a family, and you cannot afford to give them food to eat. Okay, Laurentia, I'm here to speak on their behalf. They are watching me, and when I leave here to the house, I'm sure I would be asked to bring food to eat. And there is no food to eat because, of course, the one we will have, maybe a cup of garri now is about 500 naira, of course, and businesses are not going on the way we expected. Laurentia, you can attest to the fact that this place is not as when you came to me, because funds are not there. You get? We need funds. We need government improved packages, government ideas that will make us to survive, not this. But when this has emerged, I am praying, Mr. President, because he saw the wordings in the anthem as what is the best, let him quickly go into returning back our dollars to normalcy, bringing back our fuel to normalcy. At least 100 naira or 120 is okay. Bringing back, ensuring that companies, local companies, have support base so that agriculture can improve, so that we can eat food more. I need food.
All right.
Yeah.
Well said, Honorable Waribani. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. Thank you so much